then mass produce so the tents can be distributed to the people who need them most. Inspired, many of the girls will go on to study in the STEM fields, which needs more of them as well. And this is Mandy from GoodNewsGoodPlanet.com.
Good news, good planet, good news.
Tired of the BS? Sick of the spin? Ticked off at the whining? Yeah, me too. So turn up that radio and hang with me, Arnie Arneson, host of The Attitude. It's never too early to get the story straight.
This is KPFT Houston, 90.1 FM and FM HD1.
Support for KPFT and the Prison Show is provided by the Cohen Parole Law Firm. For almost 40 years, Gary Cohen has helped represent incarcerated individuals throughout Texas obtain parole and fight parole revocations. We protect those who have fallen short of perfection from the wrath of those who believe they have attained it. For more information about Gary Cohen and his associates, Alan Bennett and Gene Anthis, you can find it at the website, parolelaw.com. You may also contact them at 512-476-6201.
Listeners should be aware that the following program contains language and audio images which may be found disturbing and may not be suitable for your snotty-nosed little brat who probably cusses like a sailor behind your back anyway. Parental discretion is advised.
Daddy, I'm coming to see you at visiting hours next week. Mama ain't been doing too well, I'll tell you more when we speak. And Billy's loving high school. He's out there blocking for JV. I'm sure he's gonna come around by the time you get released. It's Friday night, the inmates go quiet. Listen for a voice they know.
It's time to holler down the pipe chase and rattle them bars, because we're going to do a prison show for you right here at beautiful old, historic old, exciting new KPFT Houston, from the heart of Montrose, where we all hope tomorrow will be a better day.
Dreams, I can see your freedom. I will hold you once more. The men with no visitors, no money on the books. Remember, David's always gonna be here. You're never so alone. This ain't my love. It's Friday night. The inmates go quiet. Listen for a voice they know. It's prison radio. Prison radio.
In these headphones. Now I can. I think I need to repeat it. Tonight is Friday, August the 2nd, and we're the Prison Show. And in case you haven't listened to us in a while, or maybe this is your first time, we need to do a disclaimer. Yes, we do. Just because someone has a platform that we let them have does not mean that we share their views. Like, for instance, I could meow right now.
Or I could make America great again.
Yeah. See, two different views. But that doesn't mean that everyone on the Prison Show agrees with. It's just a disclaimer that we should do more often, but we haven't done in a while.
And instead we play pole dancing music.
Exactly. We play that pole dancing music. So, and it's the David and Dani comedy hour, as we were accused. But yes, I can meow, and David can say, I don't remember those words.
Yeah.
I don't remember those words. But anyway.
I say it just to watch your face turn red.
I know. I get beat red and... So
shake that fuzzy thing.
I know, my fuzzy thing going. So as you know, as everyone should know, tuberculosis is, we mentioned it last week, and it's still going round. Apparently, 3 people on outline at the memorial unit had it. One was a kitchen worker, and it's not good. Not good. They didn't even test everyone on L wing or L line. I keep getting them confused. Pods, lines, wings. Y'all confuse me with that. Anyway, also, if you haven't been listening to the news, A.J. Armstrong his case was really big here in the Houston area. And he was notified by the Harris County District Attorney's Office. His capital murder case was flagged along with hundreds of other cases after technical issues were discovered in a forensic software program commonly used in DNA testing. So, I'm sure more will be coming out. Keep your ears open. And Essence Williams. She works at the, let me see, where does she work? She works at the, anyway, I can't find where she she worked at the Wainwright unit. That's right. She worked at the Wainwright unit, was supposed to go to the Holiday unit to work overtime, but instead she was trying to sneak on into the Ferguson unit. She's an officer, obviously, and she was busted with 2 heavily wrapped packages of paper testing positive for K2. So Essence Williams, naughty. That's what makes it hard for everyone. So, tonight, David has lined up a great show. Alli Sullivan, normally with death penalty action, but tonight she is with JoinJeremy, a national social justice movement dedicated to freeing Jeremy Busby and correcting injustices throughout the country. Dr. Amite Dominick, president and founder at Texas Prisons Community Advocates, is going to be on, and Nicole Hutchison Moore, founder and CEO of the Rusty Diamond Network, and of course Abraham Bonowitz, co-director and founder at Death Penalty Action. So jam-packed. So let's get down to Alli on line 3. Hi, Alli.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. It's actually interesting that you brought up the officer that was caught sneaking packages into the prison, because that kind of is relevant to what I'm going to be talking to you guys about tonight, at least part of it. So as Dani had mentioned, normally I'm with Death Penalty Action. You'll hear from our executive director later. But tonight I'm with JoinJeremy. Jeremy is a very, very, very dear friend of mine. I met him 3.5+ years ago, and a number of years ago he had JoinJeremy trying to get off the ground to campaign for his freedom. He has a kind of wrongful conviction, not what everybody normally associates with wrongful convictions, like actual innocence. But that's another thing. You'll probably be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. But Jeremy is also an incarcerated journalist within TDCJ. His work has been published in the Houston Chronicle, Marshall Project, Prison Writers, Freedom of the Press Foundation, and several other places. And as a result of his journalism, highlighting all kinds of failures of Texas, or TDCJ's leadership in Texas prisons, he has come under fire a lot over the last several years from administrators all up and down TDCJ. When I first met Jeremy, he actually was in solitary confinement, and he had been in solitary confinement for at least 2 years, and they kept denying him classification hearings to keep him in solitary confinement, even though he was supposed to get those every so often. I forget the exact period of time. But since I've known Jeremy, he has been shipped to several different prisons all around the state typically when retaliation against Jeremy starts picking up, and sometimes reporters or legal people try to get involved and to schedule visits with him to figure out what's going on and to see what they can do to intervene, they mysteriously pack him up and ship him across the state in the middle of the night. This has happened like 4 or 5 times since I've known Jeremy. And you guys in Houston know that when I was there in Texas at the end of June for Ramiro Gonzalez's execution, I was actually supposed to visit Jeremy Busby, and like a day or two before I was supposed to see him, they canceled my visit. Apparently he had been put in transit. The retaliation had picked up again, and he writes about all kinds of issues in Texas prisons. Most recently, it's been about the drug issues, suicides that are running rampant within TDCJ. He's highlighted and documented all kinds of failures during the way that TDCJ handled the COVID pandemic. And they really don't like that, especially when his work is getting published in places like the Houston Chronicle. So my visit with him a couple weeks ago was canceled without much detail. And then, of course, the inmate had escaped, I think, from the Clemens unit. And so that screwed up our plans even further. But since then, so around that time, I had not heard from Jeremy in several weeks. So normally he calls me every day, every other day. And several weeks after I had lost contact with him, I heard from him. We were actually all in Washington, D.C. at the fast and vigil to abolish the death penalty. And he had told me that he had been attacked by his cellmate who was on all kinds of drugs that had been coming into the prison. And this person was already a person with a pretty significant history of violence. Their crime was pretty violent. And what we also see as soon as this retaliation and stuff starts picking up with Jeremy, we see TDCJ pretty deliberately put him in positions that compromise his safety. It's happened several times. He has been attacked several times by various cellmates, and there are numerous witnesses that can attest to what's gone on and talk about that it's not Jeremy's fault that these things happen. But so while all this has been going on, he fell out of his bunk in March, I believe, and broke his shoulder. And TDCJ had kept denying him medical care over and over and over again. Finally, a week or two ago, he was evaluated by surgeons at UTMB Galveston, and they determined that they needed to do surgery to fix Jeremy's shoulder. And so he got his surgery earlier this week. He said the surgeon was wonderful, except the surgeon put in a number of requirements that TDCJ was supposed to follow regarding Jeremy's rehabilitation and just recovery from surgery. It was a pretty significant surgery. And they also had put in pain medication, of course, and it's been a struggle for Jeremy to get his pain medication. But he, previous to when all this happened, he was at the Memorial Unit when he was most recently attacked. Then they shipped him to the Wing Unit, then to the Ferguson Unit. The Ferguson Unit seems to have been worse for him than all the units previous to that. And he was formerly at the Connolly Unit and the McConnell Unit, etc. And he just constantly feels like he's unsafe. The administration has been extremely hostile towards him. Prison guards have attacked him on numerous occasions. And just a little bit of background, Jeremy, every time he comes to a new prison, he tries to build up a good rapport with the administration at that prison because he, for the last several years, he's been a peer educator in TDCJ, and part of his job has been to go around the prison and help prevent suicides and help with conflict resolution and stuff like that. And when he went to the Ferguson Unit's administrator, warden, when he first got there, the warden already knew who he was coming from the Memorial Unit, and he was attacked and basically forced on the ground by prison guards, and his arms were shoved behind his back despite his broken shoulder. And so since the surgery, TDCJ has blatantly refused to adhere to any of the recommendations made by the surgeon. He's supposed to have a no handcuff pass, and he's supposed to have medical 24/7, etc., and they're refusing to do that. So right now, Jeremy's in a pretty difficult situation. What am I saying? So without going into too much detail, because so much has happened over the last couple of years, essentially what we're asking for people to do, we have a petition on JoinJeremy's website. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us at JoinJeremy. The petition is asking various TDCJ officials to...
okay, I'm sorry, Alli,
my
but
brain is...
yeah, can you wrap it up? You said Join Jeremy.
Yes.
It's a petition?
Join Jeremy on social media. The petition is bit.ly/safety for Jeremy. We're demanding that Jeremy is put into protective custody and that TDCJ adheres to all of the medical requirements that the doctors have set forth for him. And when you sign the petition, please opt in for emails. That way I can follow back up with you and show you the next action items. That's all I got for you tonight.
All right. Thank you, Alli.
Thanks, Dani.
Have a great weekend. And give him our best.
You too. I will. Hopefully he was listening in tonight. I'm not sure if he was, but hopefully he was.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, now Dr. Amite. Dr. Amite Dominick. How are you doing, Dr. Amite?
Oh, it's been a week, Dani. I literally just drove in, dropped my stuff on the ground, and dialed into the prison show. We've been in court just about all week long. Some of the days lasted a full 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been pretty intense. And we're only talking preliminary hearings at this point. You know, we're at that phase. And just like with the PAC lawsuit, the PAC lawsuit took 4 years, and there's different stages that are part of it. But so we're on level 1, and level 1 was absolutely exhausting. But we have got some awesome attorneys on board, and these folks are doing this pro bono, and they know their stuff. We had some fabulous experts, and I want to mention some of the experts that were on our side of the fence, because we're talking about people from Brown University, we're talking about people with degrees from Harvard, from UT Austin, just fabulous folks that really came out to tell the truth about what's happening behind those walls. So it's definitely going to be a process. And since I've only got just a few minutes, I want to highlight some things that I want the folks inside to really know about. And that number one thing is that heat score. We learned some new things about the heat score while we were during trial, and who created the algorithms for who actually gets a heat score. And I have to say, that was my moment when I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the person who's created the algorithms for the heat score. For example, if you're 90 years old and you've got high blood pressure, guess what? You don't qualify for having a heat score. You have to have several conditions that I can't go into right now. At some point, they even said that if you're a diabetic, that you're not at a heat risk. And I just went, how does that even happen? Because I personally have been diagnosed with diabetes, and I know when we have our mock cell that we bring around, there's sometimes I may have to get somebody else to go in. One of our volunteers is in the same situation. She can't go in all the time in our mock cell, and or I just don't take my meds, to be honest with you. That's where we're at. So I just thought that was absolutely insane. So what I want to tell the folks inside is, if you don't know if you have a heat score, find out. Ask medicals, get your medical records to find out if you have a heat score. If you do not have a heat score and you think you should, you need to put in an I-60 to medical and ask to be reevaluated. Yes, I know all the challenges that, you guys have educated me about. You guys, I mean the folks on the inside have educated me about the hoops they have to go through to get these things done. But that's what needs to happen. We've had several people have written us in the past whose heat scores have suddenly disappeared. So there's maybe an answer to that that I learned this week, that your heat score changes moment by moment. So let's say, for example, you have a heat score because your blood pressure is shooting through the roof, and I'm just using that as a hypothetical example, okay? And then the next day it's down again. You saw a doctor at the unit. You might no longer have your heat score. So, and these things are populated constantly every time you go to see a physician, and at 10 o'clock at night, then classification gets to be able to see where you're at on that. So it's super, super important that you find out if you have a heat score, and if you don't have one, then you ask to be reevaluated. So that was a really big deal. Then one of the other things that I thought was a really big deal, and I want to say this also to encourage the folks inside, folks that have filled out our surveys, folks that have filled out grievances. I'm going to tell you your grievances were on the screen today. Not your personal grievances, but those numbers of people who filed heat-related grievances. Yes, we have fully understand the grievance system is all we have to deal with, okay? But I'm going to say that was incredibly important during these preliminary hearings. So look at those numbers for those grievances. I think they were pretty low, considering what I've been told from the folks inside. But that was super important. The other part of those grievances that's really important right now is apparently there's been a heat strike team that's been created within TDCJ, and apparently it started the end of last summer, so 2023 summer. And that team, one of the things that triggers that team is you all's grievances. So they're supposed to, and we have heard from folks on the inside, like suddenly they got pulled out of their cell, they got questioned, what have you. That might have been the heat strike team that were, if you guys are reporting, you're not getting cold water, you're not being able to go to respite, the showers aren't cold, or you're not being able to access the showers. Those types of things are triggering that strike team. Now, we've been working for quite a while now, particularly Brittany and Kathy. They've been working with the ombudsman, and sometimes he's gone in for us, based on some of the folks that we're able to highlight with them. But I want the folks inside to know that those grievances are supposed to trigger this strike team. If that is not happening, please continue to let us know.
What is a strike team?
So the strike team is apparently a team that Collier has created. These are the folks at Huntsville that are supposed to go into the units to check to make sure AD 1064 is being adhered to.
Okay.
Yes. So, and the reasons why they go in is if there's grievances or complaints that say that 88 parts of that administrative directive is not being followed. So that's what I meant by we're not getting cold water, we're not getting ice, we're not getting cool showers, not being allowed to go to respite, and we can go down the list for AD 1064. So that is supposed to be triggering that strike team. So folks need to file those grievances. If they're filing the grievances, the strike team is not showing up, then let us know. Continue to let us know over at TPCA, because we're going to continue to monitor the circumstances surrounding that. So that was another one of the big highlights. I also want to, before I run out of time here, encourage everybody on the inside to continue to send their grievances. They can send them to us, or they can send them to one of our attorneys on the team. That's Erica Grossman at 1437 North High Street, Denver, Colorado, 80218, or to TPCA at P.O. Box 1974, Fulton, Texas 78358. And there's so much more I want to say and tell folks about with the hearing, but there was just a ton, a plethora of information.
Well, you have 7 more minutes, so you can.
I have 7 more minutes.
Yeah.
I was going to jump to the Sunset Commission real quick, and I wasn't sure if folks wanted to hear about that too. expectation for the report for the Sunset Commission is supposed to be, I'm being told, like around September 24th. So if you're still trying to get those confidential complaints into the Sunset Commission, then then you want to hurry up and get those things done. The other things that I found that was really interesting about the trial is, I mean, I don't even know how to say this exactly, but there was just this constant regurgitation of, well, we don't know if someone had a condition and that's why they died from the heat, or if they hadn't been adhering to the mitigating factors, so they hadn't been drinking water all day, if that's maybe why they actually died. And there was this constant kind of passing of the buck between is the legislator supposed to, take charge of this? Is it a judicial decision? Is it just TDCJ in and of themselves? And that was just, that was that constant themes throughout, but it wasn't even just our folks on the inside. It was also the officers. So there were statements about if the officers were having heat-related illnesses, that it could possibly be because they weren't adhering to their training. And, when I read the story about the officer who had a miscarriage last year because she wasn't relieved from her shift, I was just aghast at that, there was such a self-protection of the agency that they weren't willing to make that statement, to make that jump to, as one of the other executive directors we had who testified, he was an executive director of the Colorado and Alaska prisons, and he was asked what he would do in this situation. He literally said, I'd be pulling the fire alarm, so to speak. I would be aggressively fighting to protect those who are under my care and my staff. And instead of that aggressive pulling that fire alarm, there was a statement of, well, we think TDCJ is progressing. Well, no, really, you aren't. The amount of cool beds that are slotted to be installed are just a drop in the bucket compared to the total population across the TDCJ units. And at some point, there was a comment, and I guess I better leave this name out, that there seems to be an awakening among the legislators. But that statement, in that statement, it didn't acknowledge that it was an awakening that's happening because family members are speaking out, because advocates like myself and you all are speaking out, because our folks behind the walls have been filing those grievances and reaching out to people out here. There was not an acknowledgement of that. And I felt that was, I hate to say par for the course, but at the same time, incredibly disturbing that there just wasn't an ownership. There's so much conversation about accountability. And my question is, where is TDCJ's accountability in all this?
Well,
and that's, go ahead.
Even there was a newspaper article that came out that says an inmate's body temp was 107 when he died. The state of Texas says heat did not kill him. Right.
And that was addressed. That was. I believe, I'd have to double check and make sure that's the same name, but we did see autopsy reports and that mentioned the 3 people who passed away last year, where the autopsies did literally say it was a heat-related death. So those were on the screen. Literally on the screen, and we had doctors who explained the situation, and yet TDCJ just wasn't, when asked about is 3, how many deaths are enough? The other director that was on the witness stand said 3 deaths would never be okay on his watch. He said at 3 deaths he would be shouting for the rooftops. Whereas TDCJ didn't seem to share that perspective. That 3 deaths. And we all know there's far more than that. We all know and understand that. But these were literally up on the screen, and there was just still.
So they had 3 deaths up on the screen?
Yeah, there were 3 that we talked about a few more. I think there were 5 total, but there were 3 that were autopsy backed that TDCJ admitted to in 2023. So this is just 2023 I'm talking about.
Right. I'm just surprised that they admitted to it.
They were on the screen. Our attorneys brought it up. The autopsy reports were there in black and white, just like the article that you're talking about by Lauren McGoffey, who was also there with me the whole time. Yeah.
And we really don't know how many. Okay, we have 1 minute left. Anything important? I was fixing to start asking questions. Anything really important that you want to...
I think I covered the biggest, most important things, which are to find out what your heat score is. Let us know. That would be helpful as well. If you think you should have a heat score, you need it, and you don't, you need to see a physician so that you can get assessed to possibly get your heat score. The other thing, really quickly, if you're a person with developmental disabilities, and that may have to be re-diagnosed in TDCJ, so that might be part of this. But those individuals are automatically supposed to have a heat score and be placed in a cool bed.
Oh, did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for saying that. All right. I'm writing it down. And can you repeat your address?
Okay, so our address for TPCA is P.O. Box 1974, Fulton, Texas, 78358. And, Brittany apologizes. She couldn't be on the show tonight. She had to fly back. So she was there with me, too, for several of the days. And she testified about our team member, Blue, who passed away. And we had tried to get some wellness checks on him. She had to call down for that. So, I wanted to mention that.
Well, thank you, Dr. Amite, and we appreciate you coming on. And I've been looking at the trial notes from Marcy Marie, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, while you're at it, Dani, you might want to check out our live we did last night.
I sure will.
An hour long when we went over it.
I sure will.
Thank you much.
Thank you. You have a great weekend.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we're going to Nicole on line 2. Hey, Nicole.
You guys always do this to me. I got to follow that because I'm sitting here in tears and just having flashbacks, and then also really, really mad right now about some of the information that is coming down the pike to a board of directors that I sit on that, we get all of the data from the jails and the prisons. It's called Texas Justice Initiative. And, we constantly are looking at this data on the deaths in custody, as that's what it's called. And I know for a fact if I'm on the phone with Diamonds or, people that are inside and things are happening, and I know because I've lived it. So to hear Dominick talk about like what's being said and just the giant elephant in the room with all of this. And I mean, yes, she made a good point, par for the course, but the fact that we're having these conversations and even they're saying there's 3, is huge, because I literally have the privilege to sit on this board and watch this data come in from the state directly into this database and this organization that funnels all this information. And I know a name. I have a name because I just got off the phone with a Diamond who was sitting there in a bunk with a girl who sat there for 4 hours after she was deceased. And so we were able to follow what was listed as her cause of death. We were able to follow it. Like, I didn't get autopsies and all of that, but we were able to at least track it because I have this view, because I sit on this board and have this data. And so it was fascinating to me to actually have legitimate data that in my face was completely a lie. She died because of the heat. And all the girls tried to save her and got everybody to come in. A lieutenant resuscitated her. I'm like, it's very specific what all I know. And I don't want to like upset and sugar those inside, because that's how I'm feeling right now. And I'm 5 years out, and I sat in there for a year and a half, and I can't imagine 5 years, 10 years, what some of the guys and gals are going through. It is the number one, forget everything else, which is also awful, but the fact of how hot and how cold those units get without temperature control. I remember standing there when I was first at Plain State, and they came in with this thing in the air. And, you know, I was smart enough to look, and I'm like, what is that? And it's, of course, the fellow inmates that are doing the actual work. And she said, it's a temperature gauge. And she flashed it my way. It was 117. Here I am, you know, in my 40s and menopause, standing there in this unit like, well, no wonder I feel the way I do. And no wonder everyone around us does. It was so eye-opening. And I don't think the public understands nor can even fathom, except when we get these, you know, power outages like we do in Houston and Dallas, these areas when there's a storm, or when we have the big ice storm that we had. But the difference is people are now relating to that and able to say, we've got to do something about this. So I applaud so much what Dominick and her team and so many other advocates are out here doing, because if there was just one thing that we could focus on in Texas, at least for right now, is just get some temperature control. And it was eye-opening to me what she just said. And my JPs and everything's going to be on fire tomorrow, my phones, with everybody about this, you know, heat score. I have never heard of that.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either.
No, and what we heard about inside, and I'm sure all the guys in the bed sitting there sweating right now are all going, yeah, tell me about it. We were just told, you know, go to medical, tell them about this, get this, try and get as many tests as you can get done. And it was the same thing with an upper and lower bunk. Like if you were older and had back problems and you've got a 20-year-old that's on the lower bunk and you're in your 50s crawling up on with no ladder, no nothing, solid metal on a little tiny piece of metal above. Those were the two things. It was your bunk, quote, restrictions and then heat. But we never heard about this specific thing. And so I don't know if this is something, you know, fairly new or it's just now. This is my guess, because so much advocacy work is coming to fruition. People are listening. I know I've sat in front of senators. I've sat in front of House people. I've sat in front of my own here in Plano area, Jeff Lose. They look at you and go, what? You know, they come in. There's even some senators that came in. Well, he's now the mayor of Houston. But, you know, we're now getting that traction. And I just want to encourage everybody that's inside to please write those grievances, especially if you have family that can get your back and can call and do those things. I was talking to a mother today of one of my diamonds who had called because of some things that were going on. I had called. Miraculously, within 24 hours, there was a change made in order to secure her safety. And yet she'd been trying to do that for a month. So it does matter, and it's very difficult. I hear on the women's units all the time, they get, and I know because I was in one, you get retaliated against. The women don't come together like the men do on grievances. It is so important. And the ombudsman, my husband called the ombudsman several times a month to get water. We didn't have water. We didn't have, you know, anything cold to drink as we're sitting there in 117. And, you know, bottom line is I'm just so grateful. And I hope that you guys inside understand that all of the stuff that everybody has been working so hard for, it's coming to fruition. And it's funny, I was sitting there July 4th, of all things, I'm making a hot dog, and I you know, put mustard on my hot dog. And I kind of stopped, and my husband looked at me, he's like, are you okay? We had some friends over for a little barbecue. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he goes, what is it? I said, the mustard triggered me. I said, I need a minute. And he's like, what are you, all the guys inside are laughing right now. And it was like, because mustard is like, did you ever see that movie where the father used Windex to like fix every ailment? He was like, spray Windex.
Yeah.
On the inside, it's mustard. Because And so finally, I looked at my husband when all this kind of happened, and we had a house full of people. And I said, "Give me a minute. I got to Google this. I got to understand this." And I looked it up, and there is some truth to it. It has turmeric that makes the color, and it has a really good nutrient in it. But in prison, we use that like our stomach hurt, that and pickle juice. Those are like the two things. So anyway, I just was sitting here thinking as I'm listening to her, all of this is so doom and gloom, and we're all fighting so hard, and we all work, in all this space, whether you're, an advocate helping, whether you've had lived experience. So, you're kind of closer to the problem. I think we're all moving closer to a solution. And I'm seeing that across the board for the first time. And, I've been out 5 years now, hitting this hard every single day, not taking a break. And I'm really proud of everybody that's working so hard. And I hope that you guys that are inside listening right now, don't go to commissary and buy 20 bottles of mustard. Just keep one handy.
Just what? Hey, Nicole, can we get your address in case someone wants to write to you?
Absolutely. It's 7801 Alma, ALMA, Drive, number 74, Plano, Texas, 75025.
All right. All right, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the show. That heat story is 107.
Before we cut away here, everybody has been calling me about all the rhetoric and the stuff going on in the prisons right now, in the dorms and the pods, about politics and what's happening in the world. I want to leave one thing with everybody that has really resonated with everybody that I've talked to in the Diamond Network. Guys, we get to change the voting laws. So when everything's going crazy in there and everybody's kind of fighting or bickering or not understanding what's going on, and you don't have all the information or the news, no matter what side you're on, stop and just think for a minute that because of the lived experience you've had, because of what you're going through, that on the outside of this, there is such an opportunity to change how you can vote. And there's a huge coalition around all of that. So try to kind of shift your mind to that.
Well, thank you, Nicole. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Love you guys. Everybody stay blessed and prayed up.
Love you too. Have a great weekend.
Y'all too.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we have Abe. Hey, Abe.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Good. I wasn't sure of my connection here, kind of up in the hills here in Utah this week. I'll talk about that in a moment, but greetings, everybody. I hope you're finding ways to stay cool, and a great show tonight, and greetings to everybody that's been presenting. I'm thankful for all of you. Let me just dive right into it. It has been a difficult week and an ugly week, and it's going to get uglier next week, as we all know. But I'll just start with the bad news that we got the other day with a ruling. This was on Wednesday, I think, a ruling from the South Carolina Supreme Court, which basically upheld the constitutionality of that state's use of the firing squad and the electric chair. And this goes back a couple of years ago now when they wanted to carry out executions, but they didn't have, they couldn't get the drugs, and the South Carolina law requires 2 viable methods of execution. So they already had the electric chair. They brought in the firing squad, and then they tried to have an execution, and the courts halted it. And they halted it because they didn't have a firing squad set up and ready to go. And then, anyway, there was a legal challenge to that in the state, under the state constitution, and that held up everything for 3 years now. And unfortunately, that is going to break the wall down and allow them to set dates in South Carolina where prisoners will get to choose firing squad or electric chair. So we're going to be watching out in Louisiana. We're going to be watching out in Arizona, where the Democratic Attorney General is now making noise about resuming executions there in 2025, which was sort of unexpected, but it's It seems like it's a political move. No surprise there, but it'll be a while there. And we're still also waiting for dates to be set in Louisiana, where, as you know, they've got a new governor and a bunch of people who've exhausted their appeals, and those are so we're expecting numerous execution warrants to be set there. Of course, Texas continues on, and I want to talk about next Wednesday, because this next Wednesday, August 7th, is.
Are you there, Abe? I think we lost you.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm just sitting here. Anyway, I was just talking about next Wednesday, August 7th. We're going to have a hard day starting in Oklahoma. 9 a.m. is the clemency hearing for Emmanuel Littlejohn. We've been running a campaign for him, and you can find it at deathpenaltyaction.org. They're having a clemency hearing, and our message to the world is that Emmanuel Littlejohn didn't kill anybody. He was present and part of a crime, but the witnesses say it was the taller guy who fired the shot, and that was the co-defendant. And what happened at trial, they tried each of those guys independently, and at trial, the same prosecutor said each of them was the shooter, is what he told two different juries about two different people. So Littlejohn gets some fairness, and he should get clemency, and we've been pushing for that. So that's how we start off with August 7th. Then in the evening, of course, in Texas, Arthur Burton is scheduled to be executed. So shout out to Arthur. Hope you're hanging in there. We're grateful that you connected with Alli, and we've got some of your poetry. We'll be looking forward to sharing that during the vigil online. And we're grateful for your connection and our connection with you. Then we're going to go over to Utah, where I am right now, where Taberahoney is scheduled to be executed just after midnight Mountain Time on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And he is one of those cases where, the common thread that we find through many of the people who end up in prison and on death row, and especially on death row, is addiction and abuse and neglect at childhood. And this is something that happened to Taberahoney, and in particular the addiction. He was severely intoxicated when he committed his crime, and he's very remorseful, and he has said that, if he hadn't been so out of it, he never would have done what he did. And in any case, he was denied clemency. And we're here in Utah because this is the first execution since 2010 in Utah. And sitting right behind me is Randy Gardner, the brother of Ronnie Lee Gardner, the last person executed here in Utah by firing squad. And we're here advocating. And if you check our social media later on, we'll share all the news that we created this evening and what we're going on this whole weekend and this week, because there is no state anti-death penalty organization here. So we came in at the invitation of friends like Michelle Beasley, who stepped up and is helping organize, and a whole other committee of folks, and Bishop Solis, the Catholic bishop for the Diocese of Salt Lake, has really stepped up and created space for us to be able to organize in the community, and that's what we're doing here in Utah. And if you go and sign a petition for all these people at deathpenaltyaction.org, we've got, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. We've got a new date that was just set. This is interesting, in Florida, also for this month, for August 29th. You have in Florida last month, Ron DeSantis, the governor there, signed a compensation bill to support people who survived their experience at something called the Dozier School for Boys because of the rampant abuse and torture that went on there in that space. Last month, he signed a compensation bill for people who suffered there, and just the other day, he signed an execution warrant for a man named Loran Cole, who spent some time there as a child and suffered horrific abuse and torture. And now, instead of giving him compensation, they're going to execute him for the crime that he did do Everybody acknowledges that. Certainly he must be held accountable for that. But, there's got to be a space for recognizing when society's failure to catch people falling through the cracks has so much to do with the commission of these crimes. So that's the latest in Florida. Other big things happening, crazy stuff in Missouri. On August 21st, there's going to be a hearing for Marcellus Williams, who's got DNA to show that he's innocent. And what's been going on, and this is actually a positive, that he just had a win when the courts, a higher court ordered that his hearing be allowed to go forward, his evidentiary hearing to present this DNA evidence. The Attorney General of Missouri had been arguing that he should not have that hearing, that there should be finality and that there isn't space to revisit the case, even when you have evidence that shows the guy's innocent. So that's a little bit of a victory, but an outrageous situation. And in part, we want to recognize and congratulate our friends at Witness to Innocence, who held a big press conference there to bash that Attorney General just yesterday. So they did that. And then we're looking in October at Robert Robertson. They just filed for a stay. That's another Texas case. Shaken baby case. He's getting a lot of good advocacy and attention to his case. And hopefully it's going to help. What else is happening? The other thing I wanted to make sure to mention tonight is just that we all get to continue to focus on President Biden and ask him to commute all of the death sentences on the federal death row, because we know what's going to happen if Donald Trump is elected. And we want to make sure that if Donald Trump is elected, and you don't have to agree with my opinion, but I'll tell you, I'm hoping that he's not elected, because one of the things on this issue, on my issue, is he will resume executions in force. And that's what his plan calls for, is finish executing everybody on federal death row and help the states do more executions. So that's the one issue that I focus on, and of course I'm personally concerned about so many others. Or death penalty action does not take a position or advocate for individual candidates, but we do talk about the policies, and that's the issue. So on the other hand, if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, then we want to make sure that she has not always been good, and she probably still isn't all that great on criminal justice reform and criminal justice matters as a prosecutor and an attorney general. However, in 2019, she wrote about her now opposition to the death penalty, so she's on the right side of that issue. And if Joe Biden takes everybody off the federal death row, it's a non-issue for her. She doesn't have to deal with any possible execution. So that's how we're looking at it. Either way, doesn't matter who you're going to vote for. What matters is that we got to get Joe Biden, before he leaves office, to commute all those federal death sentences. And he can do that with a stroke of a pen. So please go to deathpenaltyaction.org and take the action if you're listening. And even if you're incarcerated, you can still write to the president and ask him to do the right thing. And that address is simply the White House, Washington D.C. I promise you. And somebody can look up and get you I don't have access to my computer right now, so if somebody wants to just quickly Google the address for the White House, then you could share that.
I know it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Of course, we just need the zip code.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've got for tonight. Are there any questions, any thoughts people want to share about this issue?
Well, even if you're incarcerated, like you said, you could write to the president. However, you can also ask your family, your friends, to get online and go to the petition. You can definitely
exactly.
And that's Death Penalty Action?
Deathpenaltyaction.org. That's right. So, and that's where you can go to sign petitions for every execution that is set, and other egregious matters such as what's happening in later in September. We're looking at the next nitrogen gas suffocation execution in Alabama. And
they had an autopsy on him, didn't the one that happened?
Kenneth Smith, yes, and that really hasn't. I'm not sure if that's been publicized yet because there's litigation that is being put forth around that.
I think it was publicized. I read something about that he was. Now I can't remember what I read.
Well, what we know is that he suffocated over. It took him several minutes of suffocating before he became unconscious, and then it took him like 21 minutes to die. And so obviously it worked, right? But the state had promised that he would be unconscious within 15 seconds, and that certainly did not happen. And we know that not only because of Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood, who was standing right there with Kenny as his spiritual advisor, but also all of the media witnesses had consistent reports, and even the New York Times had an article that talked to all the people who witnessed it, including the victim's family, and even they said how appalling it was to them and how damaging it was to them to have to watch it. And I will share that everybody was staying in the same hotel outside the prison there in Atmore, and that's down the street in Atmore, and I got to witness the victim family and the family of the executed actually connecting with each other after the execution and talking and having a hug together. And it was really, a little bit of reconciliation, I think, and a painful night for all of them. And it was beautiful to be able to see that experience. And just with a minute or two left here, I want to just say that also one of the things that we're seeing over and over again when it comes to the families of the accused, especially in these federal cases, we've learned that this is happening. Everybody on the federal death row is, of course, applying for clemency, which is what you have to do in order to be able to get it.
I'm sorry, Abe, we've got to close. I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, well, we're at P.O. Box 89 in Ghent, Ghent, New York 12075. That's P.O. Box 89, Ghent, Ghent, New York 12075. Everybody have a peaceful night and stay cool, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Oh, I think...
I put my dreams and I put my trust in every useless thing that soon becomes dust. I ride the ride and I hope the hope, though sometimes I think I'd be better off on dope. Oh God, if you exist, hear this. I am confused by all I see, by every tortured soul and all the misery. For every smile, 10,000 tears. For every accolade, a masquerade of fears. Oh God, if you exist, hear this. Illusion reigns as hope falls, although I try so hard to rise above it all. I say my prayers and I do my deeds, and then I speculate if I have met your needs. Oh God, if you exist, hear this. Drunkenness, I write these words For it's the only way that I can find the nerve. But I'll play the game the best I can. But I want nothing more than just to be your friend. Oh God, if you exist, hear this. Oh God, if you exist, please hear this.
You're listening to KPFT Houston. Support for KPFT and the Prison Show is provided by the Cohen Parole Law Team. For almost 40 years, Gary Cohen has helped to represent incarcerated individuals throughout Texas, obtain parole, and fight parole revocations. We protect those who have fallen short of perfection from the wrath of those who believe they have attained it. More information about Gary Cohen and his associates, Alan Bennett and Gene Anthus, can be found on their website at parolelaw.com. You may also contact them at 512-476-6201.
Okay, welcome back. 713-526-5738. Option number 2, to speak to your loved one on the air. And before we go any further, Jeremiah Rodriguez over at the federal unit in Beaumont. Hey. Hey. Well, everyone over there. Everyone over at the federal unit, either in Houston, Beaumont. I know I've got a letter here that's, although you didn't address it correctly, you put Shepherd, Texas. It's Shepherd, America. Shepherd, America. So, anyway, I got your letter here, and I think that you answered, or you left me a message, so I'm going to answer you soon. But just wanted to make sure everyone over there knows that we appreciate you very much, and we're glad you're listening. So Lydia on line 1.
Dani. Hi, Dani.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Dani, on a beautiful night here in August already. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, already.
Already, yeah. But I just wanted to tell my son that we made it home safe. There was a big cloud, looked like rain, but no rain. It was only one cloud. But I'll be getting up early to take that cat, get her spayed, and I have to drop her off by 7:30, and then pick her up at 3 o'clock. So that'll be my day. Then Jorge will be going to that event over with Pastor Reyes in Raymondville. It's later in the evening tomorrow. But I just want to give my saludos to the guys, and I want to tell Mr. Spear that I received his text, his email, and thank you for sharing. And my saludos to Jeff, to Rudy, to Juan, to Eric, Blaine, Ruben, Artie, Moises, Roderick, Mark. Know that you all are thought of and in our prayers. But that's all for tonight, guys. I had a long day yesterday and today, and I'm going to get some rest. So you all get some rest too, and Linda and Dani and David, get some rest too. But I know how difficult that is for Linda. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys take care, Dani, and thank you for all you do for us. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for calling, Lydia. Have a great weekend.
You too, Dani. Good night.
Good night. You know, I forgot to mention who is back in the studio with us. Stephanie is back with us. Woohoo! Woo! Yay! She's running the cameras tonight. So we were all excited finding out that she was coming back.
Did she figure them out?
Well, I think you messed something up, David.
Oh, yeah, it's all my fault. I just didn't use them, that's all. I used the one iPad is all I use.
Yeah, and now we have 3 sitting in front of us, but...
she'll figure it out. She'll have it down pat by next week, I promise.
Oh, yeah, she will. She will.
I got faith in her.
All right, now we have Annalisa.
Hello everyone, it's Annalisa. I hope you are all doing well. This is my message for my friend Isidro. Hello Isidro, hi my dear friend. I hope you are well. I received your email today and I'm going to write to you later. I hope you are doing something that brings you joy. I hope today is a better day than yesterday and that tomorrow will be better than today. I'm going to Italy tomorrow, as you know. I will be thinking of you. I will send you pictures and I send you my warmest wishes, big hugs. Take care, stay positive, stay strong, and know that I'm thinking of you always. Bye, my dear friend. Take care. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Annalisa. And did y'all know, you may not have known, but I did Google it to make sure it was true. It is true. Jelly Roll opened, or the country music star who inspired millions stopped by the Genesee County Jail for a second time. This is in Michigan. Over the weekend to cut the ribbon on the Jelly Roll inspired music studio that is now teaching Ignite participants. So there's a music studio over at the county jail. That is cool. So first we had a radio station, which I asked David how to pronounce. So the Polunsky unit posted a video. I think it's Mega Minds. Yeah, he posted a video of him cooking out in the yard with a kitty. Meow. Meow. Marrakech. I got to tell you. No. Sardines? No. Not for me. But I enjoyed watching you cook, and I enjoyed the kitty. Meow. I'm going to use that every chance I get. I'm going to meow. But it was a great video, and I shared it on our Facebook page. Shared it on the Facebook page. So, couple of interesting items, especially the music studio. That was kind of cool. That's really cool. All right, now we have Caitlin.
This is a shout out for Beto Garza in Polunsky. Hey Boo, how are you? I hope that you're in good health, spirits, staying safe, and that there's a smile on your handsome face. As for me, everything is okay. Yeah, I'm just at home and I'm fixing to leave to go into work at the moment, and I don't know but you can hear her, but Daytona is here beside me and she's like kind of going, no, don't go in, Mom. Other than that, yeah, the weather here is like bipolar. Yeah, 1 minute is sunny, next of all it's raining, and yeah, it's just kind of completely crazy. Other than that, yeah, everything is going good. Please know that you're in my heart, thoughts and prayers. I know that I'm sending you big hugs and kisses, and thank you for being in my life and being my best friend. So good night, sweet dreams, stay safe. And to everybody at the prison show, a big thank you for making this happen.
She's so awesome. Hey, Boo. How are you? I love that. That's so awesome. Now we have Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey on line 1.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, let me go this way. Hey.
Hey.
What's happening in the big H-town tonight?
Well, not much. Apparently,
It's a Friday night, and the prison show is on.
yeah, this is true. This is true. I just saw on the Livingston board that I guess there was an explosion on 2874 or somewhere around there.
I know where that is. It's close to Polunsky.
Yeah, someone said there was some gunshots and they heard an explosion.
What in the world?
I know.
That's a little small town. There's not supposed to be any gunshots. But
Okay,
I told Linda,
you do know where Livingston is.
yeah, I lived there for 15 years. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, they have guns there. Just
Yeah, they had guns in First Baptist Church too. I went there Sunday before last, and I counted 20 people packing heat, and all of them had them in their waistband, and you could see the outline of a Glock or a 40 caliber Glock or maybe a Smith & Wesson. And I was thinking, well, if anybody comes in here and tries to shoot the place up, I'm going to duck, because it's going to be a lot of ammunition flying through the air.
And where was that at? Waco? In Waco?
Yeah, First Baptist Church in Waco. So the next weekend, we went to First Methodist Church in Waco, Linda, Dave, and I. And we didn't see any guns there, and everybody was friendly. So you go figure. We had like 30 people come up to us and welcome us to their church.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that was a lot nicer than it was at First Baptist. Only had 2 there. Maybe they knew I was gay.
Maybe.
Maybe they thought you might be packing.
Literally.
Yeah. The only thing I'm packing, David, is too much weight, and I've lost 100 pounds.
I haven't lost 100 pounds. So
You lost 100 pounds?
Yeah, look at my picture. You haven't seen look at my face, and compared to that picture that's on the internet of that gigantic, ugly man.
Yeah,
I look more like myself.
Well, it's awesome that you lost weight.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of motivation. I was doing a lot of aerobics there.
Okay.
At Coleman. Coleman unit.
Is that what we call it now?
Yeah, it's called aerobics.
Okay.
I can thank Raven for that.
So are you shouting out to
how about
anyone
you
tonight?
also? I'm sorry?
Are you shouting out to anyone tonight?
I'm shouting out to everybody. I know everybody. Yeah, I love them all. All the inmates. They're all good people.
Especially Raven.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, my God.
My daughter did a Google search on the definition of the word proxy. And when she saw proxy marriage, she got all tripping out. So I guess they still do them in Texas, because that's what the clerk's office said. Because she called the clerk's office to see what a proxy marriage was all about.
Just not with inmates.
Right. Oh, you don't think?
You can't do proxy marriage with inmates nowadays. You have to get married in person. Stephanie will go with you.
Yeah, well, no, that would be terrible.
It's only for the military right now.
That's what I thought. Well, that's what it said on there, but they sent one anyway. So,
yeah, well,
and they told me that inmates can get married that way. I don't know.
That's
I don't
not
know.
true anymore. But there's a lot of things that the county clerk doesn't really know. I had a big, long conversation with the county clerk. The law says that the officiant's supposed to carry the license back in, but they tried telling the couples they can do it. And I tell them, well, I don't mind if you do it, but the problem is they say I could be fined $200 to $500 if I don't do it myself. And then the clerk says,
wow.
oh, well, we're not going to press charges on you. I said, yeah, until you get mad at me, and then you press charges on me, and I'm the one that got to pay the penalty for it. So, I mean, the law is the law, but yet they don't know it. They're just the county clerk.
Well, how do inmates get married now?
In
like
person?
on death row?
Yeah.
In person?
But you have to get a license.
Yeah. Well, they'll let you get the license and fill it all out, but you got to take it in and they got to sign it and do all the stuff they're supposed to do.
Oh, you mean you got to take it to the inmate in the prison and get him to sign it or mail it to him?
Well, they do an affidavit or something. Yeah. Stephanie's talking over there. I don't have her mic on.
Who is talking?
Stephanie. She's a approved TDCJ wedding officiant.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Go ahead, Steph.
So
I got your mic on now.
Yeah, I got to ask.
No,
Steph.
you don't want your mic on?
I was just saying there's an affidavit they fill out, and then the wife takes it, or the spouse that's in the free world takes it to the county clerk, and they obtain the marriage license for them to get married.
Right. But then they got to be married in person and actually have a ceremony.
Yeah, we marry them in the visitation room.
Yeah, a lot of people call me up and they want to get married and not have a ceremony. Oh, no. And I tell them, well, there's got to be some type of ceremony. It don't say exactly what we got to say, but I at least want to see you and see her or him or whatever. See both parties and then make sure that you really want it, because otherwise you just bring me a piece of paper and expect me to sign it. I don't know who y'all are.
You have to consent.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to what, Stephanie?
Consent.
You have to at least acknowledge the desire to marry the other person.
A buddy of mine, he does them. He calls them kissing weddings. They got to show up, and each one admits that they're the person on the license, and then they kiss each other and say they want to be married, and then he signs it.
Oh, okay. So Stephanie, they have to sign the affidavit that says that they want to get married. The one that's in prison, then, correct?
Well, the affidavit is what the wife takes in, basically, because for me, it's usually a wife, and the husband's usually incarcerated, so. The husband can't go to the county clerk, right? So somebody has to take the affidavit basically as their signature saying they're wanting to get married.
Oh,
to get the marriage license.
So if it's two guys getting married, the guy that's in prison has to sign the affidavit.
Whoever the one that's incarcerated, whoever's the absent spouse, it's actually an absent spouse affidavit. So the one that's absent from the county clerk's office is the one who has to have the affidavit signed, and then you have to obtain their ID, copy of their ID, and then take that in with you.
Oh, copy the inmate ID.
Mm-hmm. Or have
a
certificate. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Whenever it was proxy weddings, we used to have weddings on the prison show. So Ray,
I remember that.
Ray would always stand in and be the proxy. He said nobody ever gets jealous over gay Ray. I can be anybody's proxy.
Yeah. But you have to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody would have to kiss him. And I don't think Ray's ever been kissed.
Nah, that's not true. I know several people that kissed Ray.
I'm just kidding. I'm being a smart aleck.
Ray used to kiss and tell.
Yeah, he sure did. He told me a few stories, too.
I'm sure he did. He tells a lot of stories, or he told a lot of stories.
Yeah, he's probably still telling them.
He probably is. You know, he did a gig right before he passed away so he'd have the money to go across the river Styx. And I feel sorry for the oarsmen. He probably talked their ears off.
Oh, he was a handful. I remember one morning he wrote a email out that he wanted somebody to take him to breakfast, and everybody called back and said, "Yeah, we'll take you to breakfast. Come on, Ray, let's go." Oh, he was a handful.
Yeah.
Well, my shout outs to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well, and I just wanted to call in since I was awake and got yelled at for not being awake last week. I can listen to the first hour, but then my eyes get heavy and I get sleepy. Well, David, I hope everybody's all right. Dani, I know you're all right because you're always on the phone when I call.
I am.
You came through.
I
am. I appreciate. Yeah, I know what you're doing too, and I appreciate that. You think I'm naive and old, but it's not true.
It's not true. You're not old?
No, I am old, but I'm not naive. I've been kissed before. Several times. Well, y'all guys take it easy. Y'all do good, and I'll talk to y'all next week.
All right. You take care.
Have a good one.
All right. You take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. So, I know that y'all remember me talking last week, I'm sure you do, about that TDCJ troll. Like we said at the beginning, our disclaimer stands, but he still would like, he or she would love to hear from listeners regarding anything going on. Like, for instance, and I did verify this, McConnell unit female officer has shank held to her neck, saved by another inmate. Thank God he was there because staff are scarce. And then, of course, they said 2 more stabbings yesterday. I couldn't verify that, but I did verify the female officer had a shank held to her neck. So, there's a lot of good people in prison that have just made mistakes. And this guy showed his, he stood up for her, which is great. And, of course, one of my favorite, we're trying to remain neutral, but I just thought this was funny. So the Hughes unit, like I said before, TDCJ has their own unit pages. Some of the administrations on those specific units have not, or they do not utilize their page or use it very sparingly. So the Hughes unit posted something, and the Polonsky unit said, "This is awesome, outstanding, Alfred Hughes unit. Keep up the great work. Thank you for the amazing instructors for what they do, and good luck to the cadets." So there were new cadets starting at the Hughes unit. So TDCJ Troll responded to the Polonsky unit. "I see Robertson liked your comment. The Robertson unit liked your comment. Y'all want to have a 3-way? 2 units and a tryst with mean old troll? I'm in." He writes, yeah, buddy, he writes some of the things that are written are pretty funny. And
some of them are very controversial, too.
They are very controversial.
Or some of the remarks, anyway.
Yeah. Some of the memes. He has some memes in there. Yeah, buddy. So, Stephanie's looking it up.
Well, I was saying he posted, "I'm no cook, but man, I can stir the pot."
Yeah. I love that one.
He's an electrician. He can wire them up.
That's also a good one. So he wanted us to announce his address on the air. I don't think we're going to do that. However, we will say if you want to reach him. What? David sending me messages. Oh. Recovered from the chest of an inmate.
You talking about people getting shanked?
Oh, yeah. The shank you find today may have ended up in a friend or yourself tomorrow. Ooh. Really?
Hey, there's some pretty creative shanks there.
Yeah, some of the prisons post some of the contraband that they've recovered, gotten. Yeah. So, as a reminder, what Dr. Amite was talking about, the 80-1064, the heat directive, it did. They did update it, but nothing that in this area that changed. The respite area, if the unit is over 90 degrees, incarcerated individuals can request respite 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, of course, the units that I'm familiar with, when they try to get respite, it does, they can ask, and they have to take turns going into, let's say, the law library or the chapel. But according to the policy, the heat directive, they're supposed to be offering that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Water must be provided at all times. Of course, it doesn't say anything about clean water. Earlier today, one of Linda and I's friends told us that an officer, they put him in a cell that did not have water, or the faucet wasn't working. Something was going on because obviously the toilet worked. So they gave him a water bottle and said, fill the water bottle up with toilet water, and that way you can take your medicine. Yeah. So they don't have to offer you clean water, just water. Ice must also be provided and replenished on a regular as needed basis. Fans, of course, you all know the fan directive. People on the outside can purchase fans directly for you. So if you need a fan, I think some units you can have 2 fans, but it all depends. And showers, additional showers for offenders when possible, with lowered water temperatures for single temperature showers in offender housing areas. Some people aren't even getting one shower. Not one shower. Are they when they're on a medical unit, or maybe they have a medical issue when they're trying to get to the shower, they're not even being allowed to get to the shower, which is, it's like, hello. Now, earlier in the show, I mentioned A.J. Armstrong was notified by the Harris County District Attorney's Office. His capital murder case was flagged, along with hundreds of other cases, after technical issues were discovered in a forensic software program commonly used in DNA testing. So, let's see. It says, we are aware of the Houston Forensic Sciences Center's non-conformance report, and they are sending it to the defense teams. It is our understanding that while language within any supplemental report may change, the overall results and conclusions will not. So, it says that it's affecting hundreds of different cases. So this is coming out of Houston. So if you know that your case was done with the Houston Forensic Sciences Center's software, definitely get with your defense team. Or if you don't, try to find out. Because that's a really big deal, because A.J. Armstrong was a huge case coming out of Houston. He was tried 3 times, and we all know a capital murder trial costs a lot of money. Not only they hung jury the first time and the second time, and they chose to try him a 3rd time, and obviously they got him that time. He's at the Robertson unit, but apparently they were notified. His defense team was notified. So, Linda, do you have some shout-outs?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have some shout-outs. I want to say hello to Joel White, Michael Moyers, Thomas Miller L., Paul DeVoe. Had a great visit with you yesterday, Paul. I hope you're doing better tonight. I hope they are treating you okay. So just let us know tomorrow how you're doing. William Owen Sr., Jaime Cole, Franklin Davis, Will Spear, Cedric Marks, Robert Satterfield, Robert Solis. Thank you for that sweet card this week, Robert. I really appreciated that. Lucky Ward, Ronald Haskell, William Hudson, Juan Balderas, Blaine Milam, Paul Story, Walter Sorto, Robert Roberson, Britt Ripkowski, Charles Hill, Dwayne Buck, Tyrone Williams, Charles Ray Thurman, Curtis Robertson, Stephen Curry, Eugene Broxton, Marcus Drury, Troy Glover, Bill Sims, Paper Cup at Estelle, Midget Titan at Estelle, Ken Decker, Gregory Allen at the Dieball Unit, Jedediah Reed at the Luther Unit, and Iron Thunderhorse. I'm glad you're back at Plunski, so we'll try to see you soon. Okay, guys, good night. Talk to y'all next week.
So apparently we're having phone issues.
I guess.
Yeah, because I just tried to call the phone again and it's not working. So, hey, yeah, I've called it a few times and it is not working. What? There's somebody with a shout out. Okay. Crystal Rodriguez would like to make a shout out for her boyfriend, Terry Arnold. So, hi, Terry Arnold from Crystal. Keep your head up. And she also says Cofield unit doesn't give out any water.
It just worked for me.
What? How rude. Y'all blocked me?
Just saying. I don't have that ability. I just made the light flash, and then Linda answered it.
And he hung up on me?
Yeah, I hung up on her.
To be connected to the studio, press 2.
See?
Yeah, but I pressed 2 and it didn't go through.
I just pressed 2 and it was flashing.
Thanks for calling KPFT.
Everybody's calling it now. Come on, y'all. Call 713-526-5738. Option number 2. See, somebody calling. It's flashing again. That's Linda. Linda got through.
Yeah, Linda got through.
I was calling myself.
So it's 2 out of 3, or 2 against 3. Come on, Steph, you call it.
Oh, okay.
No. I got Caitlin over here.
We already played Caitlin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got Mike ready. Yeah, I got Mike ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, this is Mysterious Mike doing his shout-outs for the prison show. Here's the shout-outs for the guys of Texas, Guy Alexander, Jamie Cuppett, Stephen Russell, Stephen McGee. Shout-out for Philip Perez. Lucy and Michelle want me to do a shout-out for Paul. Shout-out for Matt, Thomas, Edward Ruiz, Adam Wilkerson. Shout-out for Curtis Robertson. Shout-out for Blaine Milam. Shout-out for Oz. Tasha wants me to do a shout-out for Payday. Shout-out for Keith Money. Shout-out for Haas. Shout-out for Aaron Vasquez. Shout-out for Bill R. Sims. Shout-out for Wayman Lee Cart. Special shout-out to Clarence Lee Bowman. And you back towards the prison show.
And if you would like to write Mysterious Mike, you can reach him at 226 Chipmunk Trail. I went blank. Chipmunk Trail, Shepherd, America, 77371. And I think Stephanie got through, huh? When?
I did. I got through. It was just you.
It's just me. It is definitely just me.
Linda says, it had a dial tone. I don't know. They hung up.
I'm sorry.
Well, Dani, that's 3 against 1. So.
I know, clearly. Maybe I don't know how to use my phone. All right, Stacy.
This is to my husband, Sporty Black at Wainwright Unit. Hey, baby love, this is Wifey kissing you or tuck you in. Yeah, I missed you last night, or tuck you in, even though you said it was doubtful that you'd call. Anyway, I ached and waited till the last minute, then I went to Mom's. Yeah, there was a thunder lightning storm warning with high winds until midnight, so I went to her place until midnight. But all that showed up was a few flashes of lightning and the rain, thank goodness. So we made it back home, and then a storm just passed through just then. Mimi and I made it to town today, and I picked up a few things. I placed on the boarheads tees on the platforms. Oh, and after the potent whispers, I think I found that structure determinant article but I had to go to Bing to find that under a different name, Eileen instead of Irene. But then I'm not sure. We'll speak on it with our whispers tonight or today. Baby, this is just kissing you that I miss you too much, and I'm glad we're back on track with our whispers. And the Wi-Fi isn't acting silly as it was early in the week. Yeah, drives us nuts. Yeah, it really did drive us nuts. Baby, I love you so deeply. Stay focused and tough. Mwah. Take care. Mwah. I love you, baby. Us eternal. Mwah.
She's always so funny. She's cute. All right, now we have Tom. I assume that's Captain Tom.
Yeah, it's Captain Tom, KPFT Houston. I'm doing a little bit of a shout out today. Recently, I had a friend of mine who was incarcerated. He is a veteran, United States Air Force, John M. Armstrong. And it's a shame because he got convicted for a crime that he did not commit. And he's innocent, but he pleaded guilty, so that kind of hurt him. Also, shout out to Pete Signs. Also, shout out to Juju, J.B. Anderson, Arkansas, and a few others down there at the Roseanne unit. Anyway, also you can donate to KPFT by going to kpft.org or call 713-526-5738 or text the word GIVE to 713-526-5738. You can also be a sustainer. And also we have 54 for 54. So don't hesitate. Call right now at 713-526-5738, option number 1. Option number 2 for the studio. I'm Captain Tom. This is Make Sure You Donate to the Prison Show. See you next week.
All right. Thank you, Captain Tom.
Where's Sugar Pom Pom?
I don't know. I'm going to be seeing Sugar Pom Pom this weekend. Shout out from Mary Alice. Shout out to my lifelong friend on death row, Charles Rabby, I think Stone. So big shout out from Mary Alice. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary, very much. All right, I'm going to do mine. And Daniel Ramirez, I got your message. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And let's see. Of course, meow. To my best friend Farron, who, yeah, never going to let me forget that, are you? Rodrigo, Eugene Broxton, T, hey T, King Big Head, Blaine, hey Blaine, Mayo, Toot, Leroy, Michael Ferguson, call me back, Michael, Larry at the Huntsville unit, Kenneth Decker, Joel White, hi Joel, Leo Willis, Joe Don, Chucky, and Jay at the Win unit. Of course, Paper Cup and Midget Titan at the Estelle unit, along with Bowl at the Estelle unit, Rexalicious, and CJ. Everyone a big ol' hey. Troy Glover also, big hey. And did you have any other shout outs, Linda?
I don't think so. I just shouted out to everybody that I visit or that I write or whatever.
Okay, I thought you had said that you had another one. Sorry.
Nope.
Leslie said she hurt her ankle.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she said she's got a sprain and some torn ligaments.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I said ouch.
I hope she's going to be able to go.
I don't know. She said give her a minute. She's going to call in a shout out. So
Okay.
she's probably taking some dope like Charles Bryant was singing about a while ago.
Someone.
You got to take a handful of pills, right? It hurts. Ow.
Oh, my God, David.
I got 2 bags of pills at the house. One's the good stuff and the other one's the everyday stuff. That's what happens when you get old.
All right, I'm put you on hold.
And you can go ahead and put her on, Linda.
Okay.
I'm right here, Dani.
Hey.
Were your ears burning? We was talking about you.
Yeah, we were talking about you.
Oh, I have my foot propped up and on ice, and yeah, I'm not feeling well. My foot is throbbing really bad. And I'm on medication. So, anyways, happy Friday night. happy Friday night. And I want to shout out to my sugar pom-pom, even though he gets on my last nerve. Yeah. Anyways, it's Friday night. I'm doing nothing but propping my foot up. And I was told today by Sugar Pom Pom that I'm getting old. And I told him, no, I'm still in my 40s. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's older than you, right?
Yeah, he's 51. He's the old one.
Hey now, slow it down. Slow it down.
Oh.
Slow it down, girl.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, I don't want to be 50.
Well, the alternative sucks.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So what did I miss? Because I had to go and take my medicine. Did I miss anything exciting? Were y'all talking about Sugar Pom Pom?
Well, I may have made a mention of Sugar Pom Pom. CJ gets on my last nerves, but you see, I told him that he should go give everyone a hug that he knows. And he's like, I'm not fixing to do that up in this place.
Oh my God. Yeah, y'all had a really good show tonight. Very informative. And so does everybody have the heat? What is it? What did she say? It's some sort of code or number or whatever? Or
heat score. Yes, evidently you should find out if you do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That was interesting. But it was a great show. And I'm glad we have good people fighting and working hard for our people on the inside. Yeah. Oh, and Sugar Pom Pom told me tonight that for breakfast he had to eat his scrambled eggs with his ID card. So what's up with that? Why don't they have utensils? That's not cool.
And that's going on at a few units. You have to bring your... What? Was that... Yeah, I think Linda was talking. Anyway, a few units have to use their IDs. They do not have or they have to bring their own bowls. If they don't, some of the newer, well, I'm referring to the men's units. Some of the newer men coming in, if they do not have spoons, either they have to borrow the spoon from someone or they use their ID cards. And then
that's probably why TB is spreading. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's an airborne illness.
Oh.
TB is like if I sneeze and don't cover my mouth, or if I cough. Mm-hmm. You never seen those heat sink videos where it spreads everywhere. That's why it's important to cover it. Yeah. And some people go overboard now and they get in their arm, in the crook of their arm. But I mean, I understand it because it gets everywhere. I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it either. My
But
goodness.
I mean, TB's always been dangerous on the inside, and they've always give us a shot every year. Or you get a certain age, and they give you X-rays to make sure that you don't have it.
Yeah.
So I mean, because that's where it spreads the most is in institutions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but Dani, Linda was freaking out because DJ Rico, he come in the back door. She's like, "Who is that?"
All right.
It's
well,
the
I
Houstonians.
can't wait until I can come out there to the prison show.
And we can't wait to have you, and I can't wait to see you on Sunday.
I know. And really, Dani, I want some fried chicken, like some good fried chicken, like greasy fried chicken. I want fried chicken. I've been craving fried chicken.
Well, we can definitely do fried chicken.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, girl. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Now, because it's visit weekend, and of course, we've got photos. So everyone be prepared with your photos. And this was put out just as a reminder that if you are in doubt about what you're going to wear, if you have a doubt, then you probably don't want to wear it. You need to wear it according to TDCJ policy. Some officers are very strict with the policy, some are not. But if you want to walk that line, if you want to walk that line like I usually do, not dress code, but I usually like to walk the line in other ways, then you probably should have a change of clothing just in case in your vehicle. If not, you get the gown of shame, which is a hospital-like gown that you have to wear. So now, again, it's, some officers are a little bit, they can be kind of, really, because there's one lady that goes to Pulaski. Sometimes I'm like, why would they even say anything to you? Because, she's very pretty. But she's just wearing normal clothes. But they go after certain people for that kind of stuff. So this was an alert put out by one of our advocacy groups, and it's always good to be prepared. Always good to be prepared. Always good to have a change of clothing.
I agree. I've had to marry people in those gowns before.
Oh, marry them?
Because of what they decided to wear.
Oh my God. And do you have a shout out, Miss Stephanie?
Sure, yes. So, I'm going to give a shout out to my husband, Gary, because yesterday was our 6-year anniversary.
Woohoo!
So happy anniversary to us. We made it 6 years. A lifetime to go. It's been enjoyable. I will say what's up to my brother, Ryan. I don't know if he can hear us, but he's at the Eastham unit over at Wainwright. So Lucky B, that's my brother. And then Mike D over at Pack Wallace unit in Navasota. So those are my shout outs for today. I want to say hello to everybody over there in 12 building at Pulaski unit. Hello. And just a pre-warning, Gary's birthday is on the 27th. So I want to make sure everybody knows that so y'all can give him a hard time.
August 27th.
Yes.
Gary's birthday.
He's going to kill me, but that's all right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Maybe Megamind can make something, a dessert.
Maybe I'm gonna try to incorporate Troop up in that. Help me out.
Yeah, Troop. Hey, Troop. Help us out. That would be August 27th. Y'all don't forget. August 27th, Gary's birthday.
Yes. I might love him a little bit.
Might. So
just a little bit?
Just a little. Just with my every being.
So what you got, David?
A sore leg.
That's sort of.
Yeah, you know, it's been a really good show. She was right a while ago. It's very informative. There's a lot going on down there right now. Yeah. Some of it not so good. I mean, it's hot. It's hot here, and the mosquitoes, and I read online where the guys are just getting attacked by them.
Yes, very bad.
So I mean, at least we can go inside and we close our windows and turn the air conditioner on and all that stuff, but they can't. They don't have that privilege.
No,
So.
And the mosquitoes carry diseases too now.
Yeah, let alone the blister beetles.
Oh yeah, don't even that those are just nasty.
Yeah, but the guys have to fight all that stuff. I mean, they got to watch their clothes, watch their boots. They got scorpions, they got blister beetles, they mosquitoes. Some of the units, I mean, it gets even worse. I read stories about rats and roaches, and I mean, it's just terrible. And it's like TDC don't care.
No, they don't. I know a couple of units are being infested with ants right now.
And the way all these guards are getting busted, it seems like about the only thing they care is how much contraband they can smuggle in.
Yeah. It's like, every week.
And what about the cameras now? How many of the officers are actually going to have cameras? They're just starting it like on Polunsky unit?
Yeah.
And is it just going to be ranked for right now?
No, every single officer has it.
Is it only going to be an ADSEG, or is it every single officer, the whole unit?
The gate officer had it. They all have them.
And when do they get to turn them off? I read that they turn them off during strip searches, but I mean, and sometimes even during strip searches, wouldn't the camera be beneficial? Do they blame you for having some kind of contraband or something?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it just seems to me like if you have cameras around, you have cameras around. I might understand if they're using them to, make videos that you're not supposed to have or something. But, I mean, it's evidence. And if you're going to be professional about a strip search, then go ahead and film it.
Exactly.
And I want everybody to see that I don't have any contraband. You know what I mean? Because otherwise the officer is going to accuse you, and he could turn his camera off and then throw it down there and say you had it, whether you did or you didn't, and it's still your word against his.
And who are they going to believe?
Well, you know darn well they're going to believe him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the cameras should change the whole culture down there. But, they're going to find a way to, it wasn't working that day, or their clothes got in the way and covered it up somehow or another. I mean, something's going to,
we talked about that once the weather starts getting colder and they're wearing jackets. The way the camera is now, it hangs around their neck. So, and it's a good size device. Yeah, it's not small or anything. But we could see like they would blame it on their coat getting in, or something if they wanted to do something wrong.
I thought it clipped on the front of their shirt.
No, well, the ones I've seen hangs around their neck.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the new ones that Bobby Lumpkin's advertising. There's a video, and I think I put it on our Facebook page. And it's more like the police officers, where it actually clips on the front of their shirt. So I would think they would have to have it on the front of their jacket or on the front of their vest, whatever they're actually wearing. In the picture, it's clipped on the front of his shirt. I don't see anything hanging from his.
Maybe the ones that I've seen, maybe there's an option for hanging. I don't know. The one that I saw at the officer at the gate was hanging. I didn't pay attention to the other ones. I know they had them on, but I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I just sent you a picture. I just think I mean, they're going to have to set some kind of rules and regulations to this thing to where it's on and it's visible, and there's no cover-ups. There's too much. I don't know. Can I use the word crap? I guess we can say crap on there.
Well, you just did.
Well, twice.
I know.
I wanted to get the point across because that's what's happening down there. They're making stuff up. They're lying. They're accusing people of stuff. And then, the guy who's running around with that temperature gauge thing, and he's got a camera going on, and he can't lie and write down something on the temperature sheet that's not true.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, it's all about transparency. It's no more brother-in-law or big brother or whatever you want to call it.
A good old boy.
It's a good old boy system. I don't know. I'm going to keep my butt out of there. I got to go visit my PO on Monday, and I'm going to be all about that yes sir, no sir. Make sure I got my payment paid and all that stuff. Because, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense as long as I've been out this time to even think about going back. No. I never thought I'd make it 10 minutes, let alone... So I've been out now since October 10th, 2010. So that's... woohoo!
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I finally, one day, it clicked. You gotta change all your playmates and playground. You just don't try and cut corners. Don't think you have a right to go out and catch a buzz. You got a right to stay free. That's what you got a right to do. You got to do whatever it takes. You got to go above and beyond to make that next right decision. And there was a long time where I was just faking it. I just would know this is the right one, but it don't feel right. And so I'd make that right decision, and then over a period of time, it's it becomes natural. So I don't know who she's talking to, but are you talking to somebody that wants to shout out or what? No. Well, then why are you talking? I'm on the air. Picking on Linda. Gotta pick on Linda. It's almost time for DJ Rico to come in here. I got about 6 seconds left. Do we have any burning desires we just have to talk about, Dani? No, we done talked about everything?
I've talked about everything. I've got a lot to say, but I can't say that on the air.
Yeah. Well, you going to tell Sugar Pom Pom?
What? That's not my Sugar Pom Pom. That's Leslie's Sugar Pom Pom.
Leslie's Sugar Pom Pom. All right. Well, who you visit whenever she goes to visit Sugar Pom Pom?
A friend of mine named CJ.
CJ?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have fun with CJ. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the Housetonians. DJ Rico Black, he just come in the back door over there, and he's going to be jamming. He's got some house music that he does. He brings his whole rig up in here. He looks like he could be, what do you do with the album where you do the scratching and all that stuff?
Yeah, DJing.
He's got the whole setup. So, I mean, I imagine he's in here really just to jamming. And I'm on the bike tonight, so it'll be jamming on my way home, too. But in the meantime, you guys do the best you can. Try and stay just as cool as you can. Get out your cooling towels or whatever you got to do. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll be here next week.
Have a great weekend. Meow.
I got it.
Guy wants his T-shirt.
I didn't look bad, did I?
Daddy, I'm coming to see you at visiting hours next week. Mama ain't been doing too well, I'll tell you more when we speak. And Billy's loving high school. He's out there blocking for JV. I'm sure he's gonna show me more. In my dreams I can see a freedom. I will hold you once more. To the men with no visitors, no money on the books. Remember, David's always gonna be here. You're never so alone. This ain't my love. It's sitting on the road. Try to keep your heads up.